Yeah. So kind of my mentality, I'm very big on mental health, and social media, you have to be careful because it's a place that doesn't always feel great for your mental health.
No.
So a lot of that, I also like to take clients back to the beginning of, it's called social media. It's not marketing media. It's not advertising media. It's called social media. It's meant to be a place to be social. It sounds so simple, but sometimes I have to remind them of the origin and the reason for it and the reason that we as consumers are on there. We're not on there to be shown flyers and infographics and to learn about the benefits of HVAC. That's not why we're on there. We are on there to see maybe something funny that the HVAC team did, or, there's ways you can incorporate your business and your marketing and be community minded.
Welcome to We Built This Brand, where we pull back the curtain on the people, the ideas, and the sometimes sparkly process of building something that matters. Today, we're talking with Halee Sprinkle, the owner at Check Yourself Marketing, a social media marketing agency located right here in my hometown of Knoxville, Tennessee. Now, I've known Halee for quite a while. We were on the board of AMA Knoxville together years ago, and I've had the privilege of watching her start this business from the ground up. In this interview, we dive into her brand, and we're going to talk about where she got her name, how she's positioned herself, how that's helped her grow her business, and we'll also dive into some deeper conversations about social media and mental health, and how navigating that as a modern marketing professional can be challenging. And lastly, we'll talk through the challenges and nuances of using AI. I know, it's a bit of a challenge these days. And that said, without further ado, here's my conversation with Halee Sprinkle of Check Yourself Marketing. Well, Halee, welcome to We Built This Brand.
Thank you. Thank you. You've had an amazing guest at this table, so I feel honored to be here amongst the people at the table.
I know. I'm very grateful to have you here. I'm excited to be chatting today and really just want to talk to you today about what you've done with Check Yourself Marketing, how you've built that up into what it is today and kind of where you got to.
Yeah.
So really just, how did all this get started? Like, where did you start your career?
So I was born in February. No, just kidding. So I did. I will start that far. But growing up in the Midwest, grew up in a very close community. Community mindfulness was the center of my family, our church, just really, showing up, pitching in. So I've carried those skill sets and those disciplines through life into college. And believe it or not, I went to college to be an Army nurse. Right after 9/11, it was kind of that I felt passionate about helping my community, and that felt like what the choice was going to be. And then a year into that, realizing, I don't really think I can do that the rest of my life. I'm really connected with people, and I thought that would probably be really hard for me on that side of life to maybe fulfill that. So did a 180 and switched to business marketing. Yeah. Completely different area, but I've always been very creative, very curious in the sales and marketing side of things. So kind of switched that mindfulness, but then took the community with that. And in my careers, that definitely became an attribute of what I was doing with a lot of nonprofit board seats that I held and just within my jobs. And then kind of had that aha moment within my last corporate role of there was a need in the market. It's always that need, as well as wasn't super happy with kind of corporate lifestyle and just the work-life balance non-existent. So stepped out in 2017 to launch my own business, Check Yourself Marketing.
Nice. So what was that aha moment for you?
Yeah. So I think very particularly it was a client that we had gone to meet with to pitch an advertising package. And they just had so many questions that were basic marketing questions. And they were so overwhelmed with what we were presenting them because they had no base knowledge of even the words we were using. And that overwhelm, my empathy, I almost wanted to start crying in the meeting for them because they were just so disheartened where their business was going, where it was at. And they I can't commit to this because I don't even know what you're pitching me. And we just didn't have the time or capability and where we were at with our roles to be that person for them. So it was the aha moment of, they just need somebody that will come on the outside and talk to them about marketing, explain things to them without selling a product. And I thought, could I do that on my own? And then that kind of sparked I would say downhill for a while, but then uphill thought of entrepreneurship, of what that would look like, leaving the corporate salary and the benefit holder for the family and all those scary steps. So wow. Aha moment.
That's a really, really good reason to jump into that career. You found a need in the market. You found something that people really needed help with, and you dove in. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from? Czech, because it's not just CHECK. It's
Right.
Czech like CZECH.
Yep.
So where did that come from?
So again, back to my Midwest roots. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where I was born and raised. An area of town is called the Czech Village, and as a little girl, it was my little Disney princess part of town. Folk art all over the buildings, beautiful colors. There was a dress shop and a pastry shop, and really my first kind of exposure to entrepreneurs. A lot of family-owned businesses from the immigrants in the 1920s still were there. There was these big lion statues on the bridge, and I've always loved cats. So it was just all these fond memories as a child. So when it came to naming my business, everybody said, it should be Sprinkle Marketing. Okay, yeah, that's fun. It's very fitting. My name fits me very well. But I wanted something different. I wanted something I could walk into a boardroom and feel confident of just saying something not as girly and outgoing as I am all the time. So did a naming convention exercise where I love spreadsheets, and it gave me 3 columns in a spreadsheet. First one was kind of some words that resonate with you, childhood memories, things that just are family things that maybe you could easily tell within a brand story. Second column was values for your future business or yourself as an individual. And then the third was just industry verbiage. So kind of, then it gave you naming conventions where it kind of cross-pollinated the words and gave you different naming combinations. And one was Check Yourself Marketing, because I had the Czech Village written in kind of the childhood memories. And then I'm also big on self-review, stopping and checking yourself. Every time I've changed a career, every time we've moved, every time we've made a family decision, we stop and check ourselves at self-review. And so it kind of gave me this Check Yourself Marketing with the Czech spelled like Czech Republic. And I immediately envisioned my logo and the folk art of the Czech Republic, where I grew up, that I could implement into it. And it sat with me. And it sounded weird to say it the first few times because I was made up, right? Like imagine the first person that said Google was like, that's a weird word, you know?
Yeah.
So it was weird to say it first, but then it really stuck and people remember it. Oh, you're the Check Yourself business. Oh, you're that Sprinkle Check business. And if they get those words right and they can Google it, I'll come up. So I can't complain about that. Yeah, it's fun.
That's awesome. When I heard Check Yourself Marketing, I remember when you were coming up with this idea, because we were on the board together at AMA Knoxville, and I remember loving it because the first country I ever visited outside of the United States was the Czech Republic.
Oh, I
went
love
to Prague.
that.
Have you been to Prague?
I have not. That's everybody's first question. I'm always like, I'm really sad to say no. I need to make that a bucket list item for myself. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's a relatively affordable trip too. It's that part of Central Europe where it's real easy to get to, and it's just especially if you go in the spring, it's beautiful. I highly recommend you go.
I need to, for sure. Have a brand photo shoot. I could make it a business trip, right?
Oh, it's a business expense, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, and while you're there, go to the town of Pilsen, of course.
Okay, adding it.
Town of Pilsen is the home of the Pilsner beer.
Oh, yes. Okay, my parents had visited, and my dad goes a couple times for work, and has always brought things home, and I think I have a big coffee mug or something with that on it. So,
nice. Pilsner Urquell is the name of the brewery, but there's so much beer there. It's like Knoxville's a craft beer city, but they're like the original version of that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's awesome. But that's really neat. So you've done that. You've built Check Yourself Marketing. Where was that first moment of validation with this business? Because I know it wasn't just out the gate. There was challenges, I'm sure, associated with it. So it wasn't just out the gate immediate success. I know there were some challenges. I don't say failure because I know you've done well, but
there's been
tell
failure.
Me about that.
Failure is okay. I like to say the F word. Failure is okay to say in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
I think if you haven't failed, you haven't tried hard. I think and that can be small failures or big failures. There's people that have had closed businesses. That's a pretty big failure.
Oh yeah.
There has been failures. There's been failures in services I've thrown out there to see if people needed. I did a summer of kind of these courses I put out there, and it totally failed. And then I let 2 years go by where I kind of built a program and relaunched that pilot program for it this past year, and it was a great success. So every failure I took as a challenge to either I'm not going to do that again, that was a failure, or how can I do different next time? So there definitely was failures, but that true validation moment for me, I think, was when two parts. One, when partners and collaborators started to want to bring me into projects. That felt kind of okay, so they see my value. You know, when you're in corporate, your value is, you're told what your value is. This is the salary I want to give you. This is what you can have within the company, and it's capped here. You're told what your value is. As an entrepreneur, we have to figure that out on our own. And it's one of the most stressful things is to figure out what your pricing is, what your value is to the community. Sometimes in just the dollar sign. And I've always been told, I have a friend, Erica Biddix, that tells me to give your price, then add tax.
We've interviewed her.
You have it. You have. That's right. Yes. So you can go back to her podcast and listen. So I always think about that. I think about her words when I say that. So that collaboration, those partnerships coming in were definitely a moment of validation. Then also one of my big goals was to reach a salary that was the salary I left corporate on my own. And when I hit that, it felt like I did it. You know, I did what I said I was going to do, and I got to a place that I can provide with my family on my own, with my own vacation time, working wherever and however I wanted, with my cats in my pajamas on my couch, full time if I want, or on the beach with my son playing in the water, versus the corporate. So those were my two big moments of validation.
Yeah, I totally get that, because I left a big corporate job years ago to go into marketing and kind of make my way through that field. And I cut my salary down to a third of what it was before.
Yep.
And
for years.
Yeah, it is not an easy journey.
No.
And it feels so good when you get back there.
Yes,
I get it.
It has immensely.
Yeah. So that's awesome. I mean, those are both really great things. And I know you've done a lot with that. So let's talk a little bit about what you specifically focus on within Check Yourself, because there's a lot of businesses in the marketing realm. Where would you say you specialize?
Yeah. So again, going back a little farther, consultation is where I intended to be, just that ear to hear on the outside. And then 2020 hit, and we all know what happened then. Everything went away. Marketing was the first budgets to be cut most places. I was working with a lot of nonprofits at the time, and I just ended the contracts as I do not expect you to maintain this. You cannot have fundraising events. So I fired myself on almost all my accounts.
Wow.
And kind of went to zero and tried to figure out what I was going to do to pivot. That became my least favorite word, pivot, because I feel like we said it so many times that year. But I did. I had to take time to pivot, and social media is where everyone needed me. That's where we were marketing. That's where people are present. That's where we were getting information and updates, and talking to family, and keeping up with everybody, and learning TikTok dances for the first time. So and all the challenges. So I kind of leaned into that skill set and did some certifications, and just did all the free Zooms that were out there during that time, and really focused in on social media marketing being my number one service. And it has maintained since then. And it's still morphed from that place of where I was for my clients to where I am now. But a lot of social media marketing, white labeling entirely behind the scenes for their social media department, creating strategy, content creation, photography, videography, wherever I need to bring in third-party assets where I don't have the skill sets, I do so. So that's really been my number one service.
Yeah. Yeah. So you focus on social media. What is your approach to working with a client? Like, take me through like your philosophy in social media.
Yeah. So kind of my mentality, I'm very big on mental health, and social media, you have to be careful because it's a place that doesn't always feel great for your mental health.
No.
So a lot of that, I also like to take clients back to the beginning of, it's called social media. It's not marketing media. It's not advertising media. It's called social media. It's meant to be a place to be social. It sounds so simple, but sometimes I have to remind them of the origin and the reason for it, and the reason that we as consumers are on there. We're not on there to be shown flyers and infographics and to learn about the benefits of HVAC. That's not why we're on there. We are on there to see maybe something funny that the HVAC team did, or, there's ways you can incorporate your business and your marketing and be community minded. Again, I always come back to those words, community minded, thinking of our audience, what they're going to enjoy, hitting their pain points, reminding them as a small business, I'm still a person. My child probably goes to school with yours, just resonating and building that community and keeping the social aspect in there. A lot of localized content.
Yeah, that's great. So, speaking to that, thinking about that localizing of the content and the mental health aspect, like, is there a reason that the mental health aspect became so important to you, or is that just something? Yeah,
I have pretty high anxiety and really bad imposter syndrome. So constantly comparing myself to others, of your career, the way your Christmas looks to somebody else's. How is my house decorated? My house is a hot mess. That person's house is immaculate and it's perfect. Those constant things that wherever you are in life, we're always going to be second guessing. Some people have imposter syndrome more than others. I had a kind of a breaking point and realized social media was the pivot of it. And a lot of it was after I brought it on as a service, I was in it all the time, whether I wanted to be or not. So another amazing individual, I'm not sure if you've interviewed her. If you haven't, you should. Samantha Lane.
I have not interviewed her yet, but I went to high school with her.
Oh, it's such a small world.
We went on the swim team together.
Such a small world. Oh my gosh. Yeah. She gave me a great skill set to put boundaries and time limits on my phone, on my social apps, to not be on it beyond work hours. So if I've spent 6 hours in it during the day working, I'm not on it at night.
Wow.
Because even though I'm in it for clients, I can protect myself on my channels, but when I'm on their channels, I can't block things. I can't unfollow things that don't feel good for my mental health. So I have to be very mindful of what time I'm spending on it and giving myself the break to walk away or look, do what I need to kind of cleanse my soul if I feel there's things that I'm consuming that don't feel good. So it's very important to me that I also kind of translate that and teach my clients, because a lot of them come to me like, I hate social media. It's a terrible place. I don't want to be on it. Why do you think it's valuable? I'm like, well, the more good we put on it, the more we are there, present in the way we should be for our community, for each other, that helps shove the bad stuff away.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely value in social media, and definitely when it comes to mental health. I mean, I can think of times where I've tried to do stuff for HumblePod and had, like the first time I tried to run a paid ad, I had somebody like cursing me out in the comments because they just didn't want to see the ad. And they don't know there's a real person behind all that, checking that.
Yep.
They're just angry that something came up in their feed they didn't volunteer to see.
And we take that so personally as small business owners. And I do have to, I feel like, train on the trolls. Teach them it's not a if somebody's going to say something, it's when. Oh, I have all 5-star Google reviews. Great. I do too. I'm terrified of that first one. It's not great. And it could not be a real person, but it still doesn't feel good. Even if it's not a real person or it's somebody just wants to be ugly for no reason. Saying something, it's just, again, one of those points that you really have to prepare yourself for and know that the people are going to say something at some point, and it's nothing to do with you. It's them.
I had someone I interviewed for HumblePod. This may not make it into the edit, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And if it does, you can feel free to leave that in. But I had someone who I chose not to work with, chose not to hire, and he review bombed us.
Yeah.
And that was tough too, because it's like, dude, like
that why there?
Why are you wasting your energy doing this and making stuff up?
Yep.
And then I know from experience too, working with like in the construction world a little bit. I worked at Be Dry Waterproofing, and we had to be part of the Better Business Bureau and all that. Like people can just be so angry about the smallest things. And then that stuff just sticks on your digital record for forever. So I totally think it's wise if you're doing that all day to step up and step away. So you don't look at any social media after hours then?
I wouldn't say that. I limit myself. So if I've done good and not been in the apps trolling or not trolling, I'm not trolling.
Doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling myself for too long, then I can go back. Like I'll be in there for personal reasons or, post things. But I am better than I used to be of just not being in there, just looking at other things, right? It's just, I've tried to get back to reading books, and smelling paper and coloring and doing things that just feel good outside of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
I hear that. It's amazing how much time we spend glued to our phone, looking at things. I mean, with the world being the way it is today, it's like, what now? Like there was I'm just going to say it, like when this last election cycle happened, there was a mental shift that I had. And my anxiety level started to spike. So because the way the news cycle starts going and starts posting stuff, it's like, I haven't had this for 4 years. I want it back.
Yes. And now to add on top of that, all the AI that's being generated, the content's being generated, we don't know what to believe anymore.
Right.
So we're second guessing our own human nature of what we're watching. Was that real? Was that not real? We don't know. We don't even know where to land and how we feel. So that unknown is just creating more mental health issues. It's an ever evolving self boundary setting plan that you have to do.
Absolutely. But it's good that you do it. It's good that you set that. So you've also talked about the idea that you had that failed, and then you brought it back and it worked. What was that idea?
Yes. So the one that failed, again, just was maybe 2 or 3 courses that I put out there because I saw this need continuously, people wanting me to teach them. So yes, I can come in and take over your social media, but then some small business owners were like, well, I can't really meet that price point. Is there something we can back off of that? And I never want to devalue my work or what I'm providing. So it was, how can I fill that need? Because I'm a people pleaser and I want to fill every box. How can I fill that need, but at a price point that's more manageable for them? And that was, well, I can teach you how to do it. I can create a course to teach you how to do it until you have the revenue stream to then support hiring a third party like myself or someone else. And so I would do so. So I created those courses and launched those in topics very specifically that people had continuously asked for questions in or wanted me to, train them in. And I had one person sign up. And I think I put like 30 different dates out there. And it was, I mean, I was so excited that she came. She knows who she is. And it was fantastic. And she signed up for every single one. So it was like, I had revenue from it. I didn't put a ton of revenue into it. So that was also good. Like I did prepare myself in a way that I did a lot of it myself, created the web page myself, did all the things on my own, the cheapest I could, because it was a pilot program, first pilot program.
Yeah.
And so that felt like a failure in a way of just, it didn't get as big as everybody had said, I want this. I'm so excited. Can't wait till you launch. And then nobody signed up. And I think a lot of it, there's a lot of things I learned from it. One, it was summer. Nobody, all the, small business owners are either really busy in summer or they're home with their kids too.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about that. And so the failure is time for reflection. So I took that into consideration, took a few years off of that, just did a lot of speaking engagements, one-off for other organizations, rebuilt the kind of program and what content people wanted, found a different space than I was using, more easy to kind of navigate for people, and then relaunched that in February of this past year. The second pilot program, let's say, for what I ended up calling BIG Marketing Labs, the BIG standing for Branding, Innovation, and Growth. A lot of focus, a lot of the classes fell into one of those categories, if not kind of touched all three. The categories being ChatGPT for small business. I taught just a general meta business suite that contained a lot of ad placement information because a lot of small business owners are like, I just need to know how to place an ad. And had a couple other content creation classes, taught that out of the Knox space downtown, which was such a cool space, such a cool team there, and had great success. And I had met so many amazing people I'd never met before. So it was kind of a new business generating. A lot of them wanted to work with me outside of that after the class. So it kind of was that residual income, continuation, which is great. Nice. And I felt really great about that. Did it kind of February to April and then took the summer off and was going to relaunch in September. And then a lot of shifts happened for my business and myself. I was reconnected with an individual that I've known for years, and she had stepped out of a corporate role into her own consultation business, and she worked primarily in the marine space. And she brought this project to me that sounded terrifying, and I said yes.
That's the best.
It was the best, and it has kind of put us in this trajectory, and we're replicating that project now to the point that I might be bringing some more internal team members on with me, which I've always been resistant in being an agency myself. But and I don't know, I can't really contribute this to any individual like I have with Samantha and Erica, but somebody at one point said to give yourself permission to change your mind. And that's something I've held on to and tried to remind myself that you may have had a plan, but it's okay to change your mind. Whether that's, I've told myself at any given point I want to quit my business and go snuggle pandas, that's going to be okay, because that sounds great. But permission to change my mind. So I've always resisted being an agency. I just wanted to be an agency of one. I might be bringing on some contractors and some work more close to home than just a external contractor. Yeah. So that's kind of exciting, but also terrifying. But back to my BIG Marketing Labs.
Yes.
With these kind of trajectory where I've gone now with this new partner, my labs just didn't necessarily make sense to launch again because my time was very consumed with being present for this client and my clients that I already had in my portfolio. So I just kind of decided not to relaunch it. And at the same time, I had someone connect me with the University of Tennessee Professional Education and Lifelong Learning Center. That's a lot of words. And so now I'll be teaching courses through their system next year. Nice. So kind of repurposing my marketing labs, my BIG marketing labs. So they're not dying, they're not going away, just repurposing them for a different coursework that kind of has a wider net as well, which is kind of exciting to kind of see where that goes. But I've got big plans for my BIG marketing labs, the big dream that if I win the millions of dollars, what I would do with it. But for now, it's landing at the UT Center for Continued Learning. So it's going to be great.
That's awesome. I actually taught there for a little while.
Awesome.
I don't know if we talked about that or not.
Maybe.
But
There's been a lot of people that had great experience just kind of working through their system with them. So
yeah, they're great. I wish we could still keep it up, but I think like podcasting, like for someone at a corporate job, like we didn't get a lot of people coming in to sign up for those classes. Yes. So sadly mine ended up getting canceled. Yeah. But the marketing piece is very important over there. Yes. And so I think that's a great program to be involved in. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I love
exciting.
The folks over there.
Yes. It's
awesome.
been great.
Want to launch a podcast without the hassle? HumblePod makes podcasting easy. From concept to launch, we'll help you create a professional, engaging show. Already have a podcast? We handle editing, show notes, transcriptions, and even video production, so you can focus on your content. With our tailored services, you get high-quality production, seamless publishing, and expert support at every step. Whether you're starting fresh or leveling up, HumblePod ensures your podcast sounds amazing and reaches the right audience. Visit humblepod.com to get started today.
That's really cool. So you're growing, you're moving forward. You got a shiny future ahead.
Yes, unless there was another pivot. Yes, no, I try to be optimistic. It's great and it's terrifying all at the same time, but I've never done anything that wasn't everything that's been terrifying in my life, decisions we've made, whether it's through my business or my husband and I have an investment business between the two of us, any of those scary decisions we've made have always been worth it in the end. Mm-hmm. There has been failures through them. Yes, they're not all sunshine and rainbows. I love me some sunshine and rainbows and unicorns, but it's definitely that failure is part of it, but it's kind of like, I'm excited to see what I fail at in next year.
Okay.
Because it means I'm doing scary things and I'm pushing myself instead of just being comfortable. This year was definitely about me not being comfortable, and I can feel it because next year feels really big, which means I've pushed myself past where I kind of hit a plateau with my business. And next year's going to be a pretty big one. So we'll see. It's exciting, but yeah, still scary.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
So as we look towards the future, obviously we're at the start of a new year. What outlook do you have on like social media for the year? Like what things do you see coming since you're in it on a day in, day out basis? Like what do you think?
Yeah. So I've been having these conversations a lot, just, 2026 planning and thinking for the year, trying to get ahead of a lot of things. AI is, of course, something that's always top of mind, top of conversation. How can we implement it? Should we implement it? What are we not using it for that we could be? I'm actually teaching a AI bots and boundaries course at the Maker City Summit in January, which is pretty exciting. My first Maker City speaking engagement, so that's exciting. But that's exactly the reasoning, the topics of where ChatGPT and AI can be utilized for your business and where you should still have boundaries. Because again, I'm very big on the mental health, but also business boundaries of being authentic. So again, that's a good segue into authenticity is a big thing for next year. 2020 really taught us we want transparency from businesses and individuals. We want to see them for who they are. Where is our money going? Are they going to do what they say they're going to do? So that authenticity is going to be really important, making sure you show up everywhere the same person, your brand's authentic and an easy brand story to share. And then I'd say that third part, again, I always come back to community. Social media is continuing to create those private communities you can be a part of. The Facebook groups are still a great part. If you can find a way to implement that in a business strategy, Facebook groups are just where people are collecting to talk about your product. Even if you create it and you let somebody else lead it, it's not led by your business, but they're there talking about your business. Or you create one within your industry that people can just talk about things. If I was to create a small business marketing group and let people talk about marketing, and then I come in as, a thought leader and giving ideas, that's some way I could use it. I don't do that. That's just one more thing for me to create. But there are so many ways you can use Facebook groups to kind of create that community for your business. So I definitely say AI, authenticity, and those community groups are going to be pretty big next year still.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's, you bring up something interesting because it's a big contrast, and that is AI versus authenticity.
Yeah. And I've had that conversation with Marcus Blair, who's an amazing AI automation business. Omega Solutions, I believe, is his business name. I'm name dropping a lot today, aren't I?
Yeah.
Marcus and I had done a class together, and it had come up about, how do I stay authentic and use AI? Because you're pulling from everyone else's quote unquote authenticity, right? Their information, their business models, their thoughts. And I always just like to bring people back to, before you go to AI, have a firm understanding of your brand, your values, your beliefs, your verbiage, your messaging, know what you want to say. Put all of that in AI, create your own GPT, create your own kind of AI tool, and say, use this to pull information from. This is who I am, what I want to talk about, and then start using it to generate content or ideas, or, that way they know it, quote unquote, knows you. But you've created a space that you kind of have these boundaries set around your brand and around who you are. That way you're not saying, give me a post about mental health, and it's pulling from the internet, and it may not be your viewpoint. It may not be relatable to you and how you see the world or your experiences on why you feel that way. So creating that your own kind of bubble of AI helps protect the authenticity of who you are when you use it.
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, we definitely kind of approach AI in that way when we use it at HumblePod or in anything we're writing is we want to make sure it has a data source it pulls from that's something we've originally, that's original to us, that we wrote or we created. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Know who you are before you use AI. So it'll try to tell you who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, AI can be challenging with consumers too.
Yes.
And that's the other real challenging part of it as well. It's like, where are you using it in your business that builds trust versus, people see you doing an AI ad and they're like, oh, that graphic's definitely AI.
Yes. And then that's almost, I'm really interested to keep a tab on that psychology of how we as consumers see AI. Because I know when I see it, I immediately think fake. And then fake makes you feel feelings of lack of trust, right? So the psychology of we keep using AI and we keep losing trust with people, how do we come back to that authenticity and that localized content that doesn't, like, how do we show a photo and convince you it's real?
Yeah.
What is that? Is it, how do we convey that? So that's a challenge that I've been kind of working through with some of my clients on.
Yeah.
We use occasional AI just when there's something fun, but if it's anything trying to communicate a message or, trying to invoke a feeling, we try to use very authentic imagery.
Yeah. Well, I think people can suss it out too.
Yes, we've gotten pretty good about it.
Yeah.
It gets me every now and again though, when you see that one reel and you're like, wait, is this real? And then you see the cat grab a knife and run through the house. You're like, oh wait, that's not real.
Yeah, that can't be real.
Wait, that's not real. Just kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fascinating what it can do. And I mean, AI can even be dangerous to your mental health. I mean, going back to that part of the conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
It enables and it wants to make you happy. An example from HumblePod, or even We Built This Brand, we were writing a script and I used AI to help me pull together and develop the script for an episode we have that's going to be like highlights from previous episodes. It wanted to make me happy. So it started pulling copy from the scripts that I provided it and modifying it to match my storyline that I wanted to tell. And it wasn't giving me the actual content, which is what I needed to hand off to my editor.
Yep.
So my poor editor reached out to me. He's like, dude, none of this makes sense.
It's mumble jumble.
It's like it makes sense in terms of the flow, but it doesn't actually match what was said in the transcript. And we had to go back and, massage that and clean it up.
We've all done that. Just grabbed it and said, okay, great. This must be exactly what I want. And then you read through it and you're like, what is that word?
Yeah.
For me, it always makes me laugh because I had to ask it to stop using unicorns and sparkles emojis in everything I asked it to make because it knows that about me, that I like sunshines and rainbows and Lisa Frank and using unicorns. So it tries to make me happy by putting a unicorn in every single post that content that I ask it to create. I'm like, okay, stop using the unicorn.
Yeah. I actually told ChatGPT that I wanted to talk direct and be very direct and straightforward.
Yep.
So now at the beginning of every comment, it's, let me shoot you straight on this. We're just going to be straight up honest on this. Like it's overcompensating for what I want.
I always like to also tell people to name it so that you can talk about it like it's a coworker, right?
Yeah.
So mine for some reason is Chad. I don't know why. Chad's just the name I named it. And I'll just be like, Chad, I didn't like that at all. Give me something else. And it's like, okay, Halee. And I can just read like the tone in it, you humanize it. But it's to remember that it's AI is important because it's not going to give you exactly what you want. It's pulling from the internet, from other sources, from your competitors to, again, people please, to give you what you're asking for. I definitely always say if you're trying to write something and cite information, to ask for the site,
100%.
the website. That way you can still go and look. Don't just believe it. Actually click, go and look, verify what you're doing. Because again, even when you use Google at times, you can look at something and you go, okay, it's from this website. Just grab the quote off that, Google query page. And you don't actually click on the website and go to the website. It's not what you thought it was, right? Or it's part of a conversation you didn't really intend to be a part of. So that verification is definitely very important.
Yeah. I think it's very important to trust but verify with AI.
Yes.
You run into so many made up things and it just it's not quite ready for prime time. It's like they're building the plane on the way down or something.
Right.
Asking for billions of dollars.
I just like any tool we use nowadays. I remember when Facebook first came out, we had to say Halee is doing, the is doing was part like permanent in the page. When I teach high school or college classes, I like to try to find some photos and show them the example of how much that system has changed and how it was never meant for businesses. It was meant for literally social media and college students and where we've taken it today.
And
those beginning tools and where we intend them to be and what we use them for and what they turn out to be used for. It's just you got to kind of ride the ride sometimes with these platforms, and where they're going to go. Is TikTok going to stick around? I don't know.
No, I will say, and they eventually found a way to make it make money, which was their goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is every goal, right? We're already paying for ChatGPT, so they monetized that pretty quick, which they knew I'm sure there was examples out there before where they weren't having people pay for, but they learned to monetize that pretty quickly.
I don't know if you ever saw, but Microsoft defined when they put in a big investment into OpenAI, they said that their definition of AGI, what is it? Artificial General Intelligence.
Yep, generated intelligence.
Their definition was when it was generating like $50 billion a year or something like that in revenue, and it was a revenue marker though. It wasn't any definition of what that actually meant or any metric other than money. And I think that says a lot about what's going to happen in that industry.
Absolutely. There's so many automations that I haven't even started to think of that I probably need to, because the more, portfolio, and that's I've seen some people use it in a really smart way to automate some parts of their business, some parts of their task, their thinking, their email inboxes. I know you had spoke to, kind of using it to help organize email inboxes, which is so smart. I think I've got little rules and folders and things that, like the current quote unquote automation, not AI, but I think there's some really, really smart ways to implement the just AI tools outside of using it to create content and generate content.
Yeah, there are definitely ways to use it smartly, and I think used smartly, it's great.
As every tool, I told a professor challenged me at one point about why social media should be utilized for their career. I've made it to this point in my life. Why should I use it now? And I said, so when you could text on a cell phone, did you just not use it because you could communicate fine just on the phone, just talking on the phone? No. Okay. Well, it's the same thing. It's just one more way to communicate. You don't have to use it. No, you could stick with a cell phone and texting and email. It's one more way to communicate, and a more visual way to communicate and connect with your community and reach further than you ever could just by texting the people you know or talking to people you know. So she just kind of took that challenge. She said, oh, that's true. I never thought about it that way. You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Have you noticed it driving traffic to your websites? Because that's something I'm starting to notice.
Yeah, absolutely. The more that social media is being used for, it's a whole nother acronym, but we have SEO with our websites, right? That's search engine optimization. Social media is being used more and more to query within Google. They're querying and pulling in social media content. So if you search my name or my business, I feel like 9 times out of 10, my social media pages come up first, because that's where all of my content resides. I don't do blog writing. I have a okay website. I say okay, it's not fair. It's a nice website. I wish it was more, but I had Jess Jaybird bring it way, way up to where it is now, and it's fantastic from where it was. You also did an interview with Jess Curtis.
And she's done some work on our website.
Yeah,
so
she's fantastic.
Love her.
I said, listen, here's my budget. It's real small. Just make it pretty. And she did such a good job. I wish it was more dense, but I just don't get a lot of traffic to communication through my website. So it's just there's, a really nice placeholder and information. But if you query me, generally my business, it's going to be social media content that comes up.
Yeah.
And that's for a lot of people. It's because if they're putting the bots out there to say, what do you know about Halee and marketing? They're going through and combing. That's everything I've talked about in marketing, used my name, used my business name, where other people have tagged me at events about my speaking engagements, where advertising has been out there for different events I'm at. It's all on social media. So the more we put content out there, whether it is a blog, that's kind of what's going to help those Google bots find you.
Yeah. It's funny. It still comes back to pushing out content.
Yes.
Day in,
wherever
day
it's
out.
at. A podcast, also a great place. But then I worked with a podcaster in 2020. And they had a slight social media presence, and I just helped them basically grab those sound bites, create little sound bite content, and just push it on their social media. We weren't creating whole new content. We were just creating a visual and adding that sound bite to their social media to direct people to listen to the full podcast. And back then it was, it seemed like rocket science. But it was such a simple thing, and podcasts have just completely taken over social media. And I love the different visual representation that even you all use with some of your videos and different things. It's just gone from that audio content to now video, audio, and the graphics and the photography pulled from the video. Yeah. So I love that diversification.
Yeah, but what's crazy about that, even in what we do, is it still comes down to what text is on the page,
right?
Because that's what the AI is scrolling, looking at, reading and pulling. And if you don't have a transcript that's right, it won't be able to read it well. Right. And in some cases, the AI, depending on the crawler and how it's set up, won't just transcribe your audio. They're not going to take the time to do that. But if there's something that the AI can already read, it'll read it.
That's why those captions and descriptions and filling in all those fields that you feel are so annoying and repetitive are important, because that's where it's pulling it. Yep.
Yeah. And side note for anybody at the beginning of the year, just a professional PSA, check your transcripts. When you create a social post, read through what the transcript says and correct it, please.
Check yourself.
Please check yourself. That's exactly right. That's exactly
How easily I use it in conversations. It's funny. It's another good branding thing I didn't see coming.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Halee, as we wrap up, I always like to ask the question, this is We Built This Brand. We're talking branding and marketing and all that. And I always like to know where you get your influence. So what brand would you say you admire the most right now?
Ooh, that's a hard one. What brand? I am always impressed by Liquid Death. The Liquid Death marketing plan and marketing strategy is just amazing. How they took water and made it sexy. I know that's a weird word to use because it's water, but they did such a good job in their merch and their just collaborations and partnerships. I'm always just in awe of that. And I've watched a lot of the talks and interviews they've done with the, I'm totally failing on his name, but the marketing lead of that. But yeah, I'm always impressed with that. I get a lot of my influence day to day and just keeping up with everything from the Daily Carnage. It's a daily newsletter that hits my inbox, and they do a great job of pulling in stories from Liquid Death, but also all the big brands, Coca-Cola, everything, any new thing they're doing that worked or didn't work. Just to kind of, I geek out over some of those campaigns and how people are doing things, what tools they're using. But that's a shout out to them, the Daily Carnage. It's a great resource.
Both are awesome.
Yeah.
I will definitely agree. Liquid Death. I'm so glad you name dropped the Daily Carnage because I've been following them for forever.
Oh, forever. Yeah. It's great. And they always throw in like a recipe at the end or a great throwback ad. I love seeing those 1950s ads that were hand drawn by the Don Drapers of the world.
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating. They do a great job of just keeping you interested in our field and keeping it really entertaining.
Yeah. It's always fascinating to me. So awesome. Well, great. Well, Halee, where can people connect with you? Do you have anything specific you need to promote, like your classes at UT? Share.
Share away. Okay, so the Maker City Summit will be the first thing that comes up in this year, 2026, January 29th to February 1st. It's the last weekend in January. Maker City downtown will be a great time. A lot of amazing speakers, influencers there. Just any if you call yourself a creator or creative, or even if you're a small business owner or have any interest, come. It's fantastic. It's such a great time. They feed us so well too. I love food. They're good feed us, usually through the Real Good Kitchen, which Bailey Foster has amazing eats. And then the next one would be my classes. February 4th is my first class. That is the essentials for marketing professionals in today's world. So just going to walk through a lot of essentials skills that I use in my day-to-day that I found useful in my corporate world, to where I am as an entrepreneur, but also I see the gaps in young professionals leaving college and what they should know walking into professional world. And then the second class will be February 4th. No, it was February 4th. March 4th will be my second class. That's a Canva course. So teaching you some basic skills in Canva. So those are my three things that are launching this year, whatever we're at, a January time frame. You never know what day it is. And then keeping up with me would basically, I said social media. Instagram is where I put a lot of my just content, what I'm doing. At Check Yourself Marketing is my handle. And that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Well, Halee, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure to talk to you today.
Yes, same. This is so fun. I love this.
All right.
Thank you for checking out this episode of We Built This Brand. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on your player of choice. You can also keep up with the podcast on our website at webuiltthisbrand.com. If you like this episode, please give the podcast a 5-star review and make sure to tell all your friends about it so we can continue to build this brand.